There he is, Big A. How you doing?
What's up, big man? I'm doing good. You doing well today?
Yeah. Well, waiting on Shane to get here. So
Yeah. Hey, I'm
I know we
pretty
have.
fired up about all that we've been doing this week. It was really fun on Monday and Tuesday talking about planning and building, and then on Wednesday launching. Yesterday we had Vic Green on. Vic just absolutely crushed it, telling about how Replicate has used the Mastermind playbook and how they've had huge success. And I don't know about you, man, but this week for me has been an absolute blast. I've loved interacting with all the folks that have been on and joined us. How about from your side?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely been a great ride, and just getting to know those that jumped into the challenge and came into some of the workshops and the coaching calls has been cool to hear the feedback and really have got some people moving, which is it's always a huge win. And yeah, we're gonna keep moving. We're gonna keep going forward with this. So the playbook launches September. Is it Monday the 20th?
Yeah.
Big A that we're doing the accelerator. So yeah,
22nd. Yeah.
yeah.
September 22nd.
Well, here's
Yeah.
the man of the hour. Here he is.
Very cool. Very cool.
I couldn't get the there it is. Okay.
There he
Shane
is.
Sams is in the house. He is. Hey, listen, he is. Good to see you, man. How you been?
Good. I couldn't get that. The StreamYard thing wouldn't. Yeah, I kept clicking the enter button and it wouldn't let me come in.
Well, you're here now and live and streaming across 5 different platforms, and so
That's what I'm talking about. Ready to go, baby.
Ready to roll. Ready to go. How you been?
I've been great, man. I've been on a mastermind, been on a houseboat with some friends, and just got back. I shaved right before I came. Good, so I got my shave good.
And I cut myself. I was so excited that you were going to be here. I was in a hurry, and I cut myself right there. So if I start bleeding, let me know.
All right, man. We'll get after it. It don't matter.
Hey,
We'll do it bleeding.
How was your mastermind group? I know you had a bunch of cool guys on there. A bunch of my friends were out there, and your friends. And, yeah, there's a good group of guys.
You know, like I know, man, the power of getting a bunch of smart people in a room together in a mastermind, man. And dude, we had amazing breakthroughs, probably our best trip we've ever had, and just talked about life and marriage and kids and parenting and everything. And we always bring in one big thing to work on to talk to each other about and get after it. And came back with some great ideas, man. I think that next level stuff, dude. It's gonna be awesome.
Well, you know, I saw a little bit of video out there, but I've got to tell you the thing that really impressed me the most. I'll be honest with you, because y'all had some deep, serious stuff. But the thing that I really noticed was all 5 of you could jump off the boat and the slide and catch a ball at the same time. That was so impressive.
Listen, I'll tell you the best thing about that mastermind, and this is for anybody in a mastermind, is if you can get out of the normal mastermind environment sometimes, like get around a campfire, get around a pool. But we do that for a couple hours. We get kind of tired. Right after that, we all get on our life jackets and just float around, and we mastermind in the water.
That's cool.
That's usually where the best conversations happen, is after we're all wore out from jumping off that slide. Yeah. And then we can talk about stuff, man.
You know what happens is you get relaxed, and we even encourage our mastermind members to do just exactly what you did, because you get out of your normal environment, you get away from the desk and the computer and the phone and the internet, and these creative juices start flowing. And
that's right,
so
man.
it's good.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Hey, listen, everybody here probably already knows you because you're a pretty popular guy. But for those, if there's one person out there that doesn't, give us a little backstory. Tell us about Shane Sams, Flip Lifestyle, Jocelyn. Give us the whole little tour for a minute and tell us how you got into this space.
Yeah, I actually, man, like you know, I used to be a school teacher in Southeast Kentucky. I was a social studies teacher and a football coach for almost a decade. My wife was an elementary school librarian, and you know, I would probably still be on that railroad track if something hadn't happened to my son. One morning, I found out my son was being abused at a daycare center. Wasn't sexual or anything like that. It was he was being mistreated by one of the workers. Whenever he would have potty training accidents, they would lock him in a bathroom for hours at a time and leave him in there. And when the day that I found out something was happening, I didn't have the whole story, but I asked my boss for the day off of work, and the school day had already started, and she told me no. She said I'd have to handle my personal problems after work. And that sent me down a rabbit hole of figuring out how I could become and stay self-employed, how I could make my own income, and take control of my life. So if anybody in my family or my kids, my wife ever needed me again, I would not have to ask permission to do that. So my wife and I went down this rabbit hole of online business about 10 years, almost 10 years ago. We launched a website called elementarylibrarian.com. And it was a education website. It was a membership site. Elementary librarians could join, get lesson plans, and use them in their classroom. And that turned into a 7-figure business on the internet. So about a year after we launched that website, we actually quit our jobs as school teachers in Southeast Kentucky, and we became full-time online entrepreneurs. And when people see you do that, man, the people in your Sunday school class and at church start asking questions. First, they ask you, what are you doing? Why are you quitting your job? And then when they see it's okay and you're doing well, they say, what are you doing? How can I quit my job? Right? So that's what happened, man. We had some people in our community ask us if they could make money on the internet, if we could show them what we were doing. We did, and they quit their jobs too. Then our story got out a little bit. We started going on some podcasts, and we decided to launch our brand called Flipped Lifestyle to help other families do what we did, find and use their God-given talents to go out, start online businesses. I like to say, I think God put me on this earth to help other people do what God put them on this earth to do. So that's what we do over at Flipped Lifestyle, man. We help people find their idea, start membership sites, and go out and make a living on the internet.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I think you were listening to Pat Flynn. I was kind of revisiting this story in my mind. He was talking about communities and things like that. Now, what I loved and I remember the most, your first sale. Your first sale, you flipped out 11 cents.
Yeah, man. Now, my first sale came about 4 or 5 months into the journey, so it was rough. I mean, I was trying to figure out websites. I was trying to figure out how to get products or affiliate links or clicks or anything else. And, man, my wife, Jocelyn, who is smarter than me, prettier than me, and just does everything better than me, man. I wouldn't be here if she hadn't have.
I agree with everything you said.
So 100%, man. And she was getting a little frustrated because she knew that there was something to the online business stuff, but she just couldn't figure out like if it was going to work because she sees other people making it work, and she's me not making it work. Like I was not making it work at all. And one night, man, I was about to give up, Aaron. I just shut my computer in disgust. It was real late at night. Jocelyn was reading a book. I was frustrated looking at my stats, hitting refresh over and over again, and went to the bathroom, man. I was so depressed that night. I did not even turn the light on to brush my teeth. I was just standing there in the dark, barely seeing myself in the mirror, and I'm brushing my teeth, and I had some tears come up in my eyes, and I just was so frustrated. I just started praying, and I said, God, is this real? I mean, I found this Pat Flynn guy. I found these other people making money on the internet, but I ain't made a dime, man. And I've been trying real, real hard. And I just prayed for God to give me a fork in the road, give me a sign, tell me which path to go down. If he wanted me to keep being a school teacher, go do that until retirement, I'd have done it. If he said, and if he'd show me something in the online business, I'd have done that too. And right before bed, man, I don't know what made me do it. Like a whisper in my ear was like, one more time, man, check one more time. I opened my computer. And I logged into my Google Analytics, and it was a 0, just like it had been every night before. But I hit refresh, and where a 0 was before, there was 11 cents in the AdSense account. Somebody had clicked an ad, and I had just prayed for a dime, and I got back a dime and a penny, and I went berserk.
You got a tithe on top of it.
Hey, man, somebody just told me that the other day. He said, "Do you wonder why God gave you 11 cents instead of a dime?" And I said, "Why?" And he said, "So you tithe." And
that's right.
That's what he said that. But that actually, what was amazing was not that we made 11 cents, which was awesome. It was that actually convinced Jocelyn. Like she looked at it and was like, wow, you made something from your head, put it on the internet, and money came back. This is real. And that's when she got on board. And then we were a dynamic duo. We were a team. We could go out there and do it together. And everything just to like hit the ground running from that point on.
Well, Shane, I want to say, man, you've made a huge impact in the lives of a lot of people. And so thank you. You're a man of integrity and great character. Got a great family, a real handsome young man, and a beautiful daughter, and God's just really blessed you.
He has.
And so I'm just so proud to know you, and you've made an impact on my life. And I know many people that are watching right now, you've made huge impacts on their lives as well.
Right back at you, brother.
Hey, I want to digress for about a year. About a year ago, you called me and said, "Hey, Big A, I'm thinking about starting these masterminds, and I know that you've got the playbook. Tell me about it. And I did. I told you about it. And I even invited you to a live event that we were having, and you came and did the live event.
Yep.
Give me just a little overview of how that's worked for you. Tell a little bit of the backstory about what you were thinking and building these groups and what you wanted to do, and then how maybe you've used a little bit of the strategy in the playbook that's maybe been beneficial to you.
Yeah, Joss and I are known primarily for memberships. We help people create membership communities. We like to say one to many or even one to the masses. I mean, it feels like, you're up on the hill speaking down to the crowd. And we've done a great job of building big communities and helping other people build communities. But when I saw what you did in Iron Sharpens Iron, I said, man, I want that for our people. I know there's a group of our membership, a group of our community that want to go deeper. They want to go to the next level. They want to be meeting with a small group consistently, weekly. But I didn't want to go out there and try and do it all by myself, because that's just I didn't want to stumble toward my next 11 cents,
Yeah.
And I saw you were putting that together, this playbook, and I saw you were doing some cool things. I was like, man, I want a mastermind like Aaron's. I'm just going to go ask him what to do. So I went all in on the playbook, went all in on that live event, and we brought that back and we started rolling that out a couple months later. And the day we opened it, we filled that first group. We actually have men's and women's groups. And we went out there and opened up we called them life groups, is what we called it, Flip Lifestyle Life Groups, because our catch line's Flip Your Life.
Sure.
So we kind of call them Flip Your Life Groups. Right.
That's
That's as clever as I get over here in Southeast Kentucky.
It's working.
Yeah. And but it was pretty amazing because we didn't know how it was going to work out. We've always talked about business and a lot of coaching and done things like that, but day one, man, these people just opened their hearts. And like we hire facilitators for our groups. We have people running these groups. And when my facilitator came back, I was like, how did it go? Like, she was just like, it was the most amazing hour I'd ever seen in my entire life. Like, every woman in the group, in that very first group, just poured their hearts out. And we thought they were going to talk about online business. We thought they were going to talk about memberships, but that was like the last things they talked about that day. It was like, this is happening in my relationships. This is happening with my kids. This is where I'm really struggling. And they put text threads together. They put Facebook groups together, and it's been incredible to watch that grow. And also at the same time, we've started doing seminars. We've started doing live events out in the world. To go out and take our workshops to towns. Like, we just finished up a series in Tampa. And now we're putting those people who join in those groups in mastermind groups with local people. So we're trying to even add a local flavor to it. Like, if we go to Tampa, we sell 30 or 40 new memberships. We're building them into these membership pods, into these life group pods in their local area. And we can see now how it's going to evolve, where I think we're going to start trying to offer it in every package we have. Because the people in those groups are just talking about things and doing things and experiencing things like I get to experience with my mastermind that I had to work 10 years to build. We're able to facilitate that for them. So it's been incredible watching, I guess, the emotional maturity and journey of the people in those groups compared to people just in the membership community, how much they're going to the next level in every aspect of their life.
Shane, what's cool is I've sit here and listened to you for a couple of minutes talk about all this, and you've not mentioned one time that they're profitable, you're making money. You're so focused on the transformation. Talk to us about that a little bit, because I know that's really your heart, and you do make amazing money doing it, obviously, but that's kind of the byproduct, the transformation that you're seeing in these people's lives. Talk about that for a minute.
Man, I tell you, a little backstory on that. About a year or two ago, maybe something like that, I really learned about this concept called outcome independent, like being outcome independent. And when I learned about it and I started reworking the vision for our company and our business, I really wanted to be outcome independent. I didn't want like anybody in my company, any of my team members to say, well, if I don't produce 5% retention benefit, I get fired, or if I don't grow. I just want it to be like everyday drills. What are the fundamentals? What if I launch a podcast, I'm going to get listeners if I do it consistently. If I do an email list and I email them consistently, I'm going to make sales. So we try to be as outcome independent on the money side as possible, and that focuses everything on, if I do what's right for these people, the outcome will be fine. We'll make money on it. We can figure that out in the numbers on the backside. So that's how we approach life groups. I made this little spreadsheet that could show how all the money was going to be spent and all that stuff. We kind of put that over the side and we said, hey, what do these people need? what do they really need? And they needed facilitation. They needed leadership. They needed someone to connect them. Like that's what I think is missing from most programs, course sales, anything else is, they don't have a leader that's connecting them with other like-minded people. And that's what we've really been focusing on, is getting people in the right groups, getting them with the right people. Because if they go out and they have a change in their life, if they have a change in their marriage, they have a change in their kids, but they have a change in their business, that is still a big focus of what we do, is helping them grow their online business. They're going to pay forever. So that's not even, you don't even have to worry about how do we get them to pay? How do we do this? How do we do that? You can figure out the cost and charge a little more than that. We just want to serve the people as best as possible. So from day one, and I learned this in the Mastermind playbook, it's serve the people, connect the people, and the mastermind will grow. And that's how we've done it, basically based on your training, just to say, hey, this is what we're going to do. We're going to connect the people. We're going to love the people. We're going to do everything we can to encourage the people. We hear something bad happen, we send them thank you cards or notes or, get well cards if somebody's sick in their family. Like, we're taking care of their emotional needs, taking care of their connection needs. The business stuff is easy. We've got that figured out. Of course, they're going to pay, and then it'll be profitable. So if you go into it just thinking this is the numbers for the profits, and you don't think about what's going to keep them to stay, they're going to leave, and you're not going to make any profits anyway. So we're always focused on that side of it. Like, how do we love them? How do we get them to stay? And then we'll figure out the money on the other side.
COVID's made it pretty tough in isolation. What kind of pushback have you gotten from this space, not meeting in person, like meeting virtually? How much easier is it to get people in these masterminds because you can meet virtual, or is it more difficult?
No, it's expected now. Like that's what we've really found. Like, I know before we used to do live events before the pandemic, because we really felt, and it's still an important part of what we do. We've had turnout, we've had almost 100 people at our last two live events. So that's coming back. But now people expect things in between these live events. They expect to be able to get on Zoom. They know how to use the technology now. I don't have to teach them any new skills. And it's almost become expected that they want that consistent virtual touch point every week almost with the people in their group. And there's almost no resistance. I remember doing coaching before, and a lot of coaching would be like, hey, can we meet in person? Now it's like, are we going to meet on Zoom? Because if we're not going to meet on Zoom, I'm not going to be able to do it because I'm at my house. I can't travel. Someone's sick. I'm under quarantine. So I think now it's easier. It's almost like they want that more than they even want the live stuff. And that's just gravy if they want to show up.
So it's really kind of helped this business.
100%.
I hate that we've had a pandemic, but it's really heightened everybody's awareness to these online platforms. And
we've been doing Zoom for 10 years, man. I'm glad everybody else caught up. Now I don't have to explain what it is anymore.
The biggest mistake that both of us made with Zoom is we didn't buy their stock 2 years ago.
No doubt. That 300% growth in the first month of the pandemic was pretty good.
Yeah. Well, listen, a lot of the people that I've been talking to that are unfamiliar with these mastermind groups and the playbook, they said, people are really not going to open up. They're just not going to be vulnerable. They're not going to be transparent. How would you respond to that?
Oh, I'm going to tell a story. I'm going to keep everything anonymous. I might change a detail or two just to keep the people in our, the privacy of our groups. Yeah. We had one group where it opened up, and it was the first week. And, there was some younger people in that group. It was definitely a younger feeling group. Right. And it was really early on. We'd only done a couple of them, and, we weren't really sure like what people were going to do. And so that we sent out the hot seats, and one person got, there was 2 people coming on that hot seat that week. And, all these are strangers. These are people who had never met anybody. The only thing they had going for them as a connection was Flip Lifestyle, me and Jocelyn. Like, they trusted us. They trusted our people. They had not even met the facilitator yet in person. And the very first hot seat, it was, hey, what do you want to talk about this week? And the person opened up that they had experienced some domestic violence. This was a ladies group, and she poured her heart out. And those ladies rallied around her, and it grew. The group immediately was cemented by her courage and transparency from day one. And this was not prompted. We didn't know anything about it. This was the first time this group had ever met, and they immediately opened up. And then the next week, another lady opened up, and then the next week, another lady opened up, and they were like, "Man, I've never told anybody these things before, but your transparency, your honesty, the facilitator's leadership just made me feel like this was the place that I needed to be. And, that's just a generic story of, I'm not, no names or anything like that, but like, it was amazing that happened. The first meeting, the first hot seat ever in that time slot, in that group. And that's how it's been ever since. Like it's like when we had 2 new guys come on our mastermind with us this year. Right. And we brought them out there and they told us, like, again, when you get in a group and when you get with people and you hear somebody share something like that, all the walls come down, right? But you just can't get that in a forum. You can't get that in, other places. And a lot of times you can't get it just like buying your way in for a weekend. Like people go to a mastermind. It's not a mastermind if you don't keep meeting. It's just an event, right? But now these ladies are as close as can be now, and they trust each other. And just to see that day one, it's unbelievable. But they felt like the environment was ready to go. And I've never experienced anything like that happen in any of our programs before we did that mastermind group.
Shane, I'm glad you answered it. I wanted to tell a similar story, but it's the reason why I think that happens is because in-person mastermind groups, geographically, you're connected. And like you and I may be in a group together, and then Robin and Jocelyn may play tennis together. And there's always that fear factor, of, man, is he going to go home and tell Jocelyn? Then she's going to tell Robin, and maybe it's private. And so when you're in these online groups, you got people in Texas, Tennessee, Wisconsin, California, and you're like, hey, there's nobody knows me. And they let the veil down.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, I didn't think about that. Yeah.
Immediately transparent, and they're willing to share, and they get advice faster.
It's always like, it's always like, do I really want to ask for prayer for this in my Sunday school group? Because
I know.
Are they going to tell the other Sunday school groups? But like, it's different when they live in other places. It's not going to get back to anybody.
I was raised in the Southern Baptist Church, and we always tease about the best way to share gossip is to ask for a prayer request, and then you get to share it. It's not classified as gossip then. But listen, when you got the playbook and you started going through it, give us a little insight. Like, were you overwhelmed? Were you pleasantly surprised? Was it put together well? Just give us just a little bit of insight. I don't think I've ever asked you that question. So what did you think?
Man, I've done this, I've been in this business for the course business, the information business, membership business for, 10 years. And I've taken a lot of courses. I think Jocelyn and I figured it out one time, in-person training plus courses and everything. We've spent over $100,000 on our education in this space. And the Mastermind Playbook was so good when I went through it. I actually commissioned Jocelyn. I'm like, we're redoing the flipped lifestyle blueprint because the way because there's a video in front of it where within just 4 or 5 minutes you just concisely tell what each section's about, and then it's laid out in chunks. You know what I'm saying? Where I can go in and get the exact resource, the exact form, or maybe more context on a piece of the thing. There's a Facebook group or a community area where I can go ask questions if I don't understand something. And it flowed so well that I was walking around listening to it like a podcast almost. And it did. Like, we're actually in January, we're going to redo the blueprint, and I'm going to base it on what you did in the playbook. I'm just watching the magician's hands, man, because it's laid out so short and so well. And most courses are just overwhelming. Here's a 50-minute thing, but that's not how this is set up. It's in chunks. I can do it one thing at a time. I can fill out the next form. But it's also useful, what we have found too, like when we were building out our application process, we just went in there and got the application resources and then built it in our own. We use Kajabi. So we would just build an online application based on the form. But it's nice to be able to go pull the thing you need off the shelf. And a lot of courses, you can't find that stuff. Like, it's just all buried in hour-long courses. So yeah, man, it's awesome, professional. Everything's great about it, man. I'm going to model my redo over your thing.
Good. Tell us about the live event. So you came to Nashville, we hung out, had breakfast, lunch, and dinner together for a few days, went through. I will have to say, based on your feedback, we flipped 2 of the day. There you go. Flip lifestyle. We flipped.
I flip. That's all I do is flip things, man.
And we did day 2 on day 1.
Yeah.
Because of your suggestion, and that was really beneficial. So thank you for the constructive feedback. But tell us about the live event. What did you like? What didn't you like? How did it go?
Anytime I can get into a workshop setting like that, where it's like I am totally focused. I'm off the grid for 2 days. I know I'm going to come out of it with an actual plan, and I've invested my time and my money into it now, so I can go back and have that motivation to push me through it. But like, I love a course. I love having, like, I love this bookshelf back here.
Yeah.
I love all those books on there. But, if I can pull off, like this platform, I can go talk to Mike Hyatt for a day or talk to one of his team for a day. I know I'm going to get more out of it. Then I can use that book as the resource when I come back. And that's what we get out of that workshop, man. We came into the workshop, we came out of it knowing exactly what needed to do. I actually brought my Jocelyn with me so she could get through everything and hear everything and see everything so that we could come back and implement that together. And there's just something about, again, being live with people who've created a thing or teach the thing, talking to other people who are going to implement the thing, and also a little competitive. Like I was one of the people in that room. I got to get mine launched before the other people do. So it kind of spurred me on and motivated me to get it out there into the world as fast as possible. And it's like 10xing your opportunity for success. I mean, if the course itself gives you a chance of success, go to that thing for 2 days. Now you got a 10x chance to launch your group. Because you're just more motivated. You've got everything up front. It forces you to go through the material because you want to be prepared when you get there. And when you come back out of it, you're ready to go. So
yeah, that's pretty cool. Do you think that, well, first I'll tell you a quick little story. You scared me to death when I was up there speaking. I was teaching on something and your hands were just flying on this keyboard. And I'm like, I wonder what he's working on. And then all of a sudden you interrupt me while I was talking. You go, I got my sales letter ready. You just gave me all the information that I need. I got my sales. He goes, what did you just say? And I told him again. He did that. He said, I'm ready to go. Let's hurry up and dismiss. I'm ready.
I wrote it once. Now I got it every time I open a group, baby. Let's go. I got it done while I was in the room.
Yeah, you were inspirational to me in that. Well, let me ask you a couple more questions. We'll let you get out of here and go to lunch. But do you think it would be, people ask me all the time, Big A, could I do this on my own? Could I do this without the playbook? And the answer is yes, no question about it. How long do you think it would have taken you, Shane, to figure out all the steps, the systems, the processes, what goes first, what goes next? You could do it on your own. You're a really smart guy, but how long do you think it would take you to do that versus making an investment in it and launching from it?
Oh, I can honestly say we probably would not have launched it yet at all. Like we would not even have done it because, I'm a big believer in people who pay attention. When I invest, I want to go back and get that ROI. So just having it drove me to do it. But also too, I wouldn't have known what to ask on the application. I wouldn't have known how to get people to the schedule, to the groups. I wouldn't have known. We asked a lot of questions about when to have the groups. How do you put people in? How do you vet people? How do you filter people? We just ramped up to all that. But here's the bigger thing. I think we probably could have eventually got it launched, but I think everybody would have quit because we wouldn't have known what to expect, like how to actually lead the group, how to serve the people, how to facilitate the group. Like I think it would have just turned into a big Q&A with me or with somebody else or whatever. And those people wouldn't have got the value that they needed to pay what they're paying. And they would have just quit. Right. But like we have I think one person has quit since we opened back in April. And this is what, September? Yeah. So I think we've had one person bow out only because of a time commitment. So I'm confident that we could have eventually one day got it out there, not now. But I'm 100% confident everyone would have quit because we wouldn't have been serving them correctly. Because the mindset that you have from doing this for so many years with so many people, you just downloaded that into our business. So we just opened it, 80% of what maybe you could have done. But like for us, it was like 1,000% of what we could have done on our own. So
I think early on, I don't know if the audience caught this or not, but you said, I think what you said is we got our money back immediately day one.
Yeah.
Because we launched 2 groups, right? And
yeah. We made all the money back we spent on the course day one, as soon as we opened it. And it wasn't a ton of people.
Pretty good ROI, the way I look at it. You got a business in a box and you launch a business in day one, you get 100% of your money back.
Well, and it's monthly. Because then it's like, then it's not just 100%. It's like, well, that paid for that. Oh, well, then we got that back. Then we got it another month. Then we got it another month.
Yeah.
And we're about to expand out. I think we'll approach 50 people in our group stuff pretty soon. So it's just going to keep growing and growing.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I think you were so excited because you had advertised that you were going to launch on a certain day and there were only going to be 2 groups because you wanted to be sure that you had all the kinks ironed out.
That's right.
And I think what you said is that after 2 days of applications, you had 108. applications. Is that
Yeah,
right?
something like that. I think it was like, I don't remember what it ended up being. I don't know how many it is now, but it did cross 100. I think it was like 122 when we finally opened those groups.
That's funny.
Yeah. So we're filter. We just filter through those and be like, who's the next person to ask at this point.
That's pretty sweet. You're able to do that, go and handpick. Shane, if somebody were on the fence, like if it was you in the audience today and you were kind of vacillating a little bit, you're like, I don't know. What would you say to that person that kind of wants to start a mastermind, but they're not sure if this would be worth the investment? What would you say to that person today?
Yeah. I mean, I would just say, go ahead and do it, because Aaron is the king of masterminds. He's going to show you exactly how to do it. But the main thing is, like, it depends why you're not going to do it. I mean, if you're on the fence because maybe you're not confident, hey, you don't have to know anything. You don't have to have all the answers to lead a group. You just have to facilitate the group and have those conversations with people. If you're on the fence because of the program, like, I can tell you right now, I've looked. There's nothing else like this program, as good as this program out there, that's going to show you how to do it step by step. And the main thing is, like, if you're isolating on it because you don't know how it's going to turn out, when you have that first group, when you have that first conversation, when you see that first person tear up or smile or go into the next week and text you saying, man, my life was better because I did this, you're going to know that you're in the right place and that you did the right thing.
Shane, it's been fun talking to you today. It's always fun talking to you. I'd love to hang out more, but I know it's a busy day for you. You've got a schedule, and I'll let you go, man. Any closing comments, any parting remarks?
Man, just I love you, bro. I mean, this thing is, I can say this without question. This is the best course of anything I've ever bought in any level, right? And it's made the most immediate impact on our income of any course that I've ever bought, and it's made the biggest impact on our customers of anything that we have done since we created our own thing. So I'm fully behind the Mastermind playbook. I'm an Aaron Walker guy. And if anybody's on the fence, you're crazy. You need to go and get inside there, man.
Shane Sams, y'all give it up for him. Thank you, buddy. Have a good one. Tell Jocelyn I said hello. Have a good rest of the afternoon. Have a good Labor Day weekend. We'll see you, buddy.
Thanks, bud.
All right. Bye.